Tonight we have the very interesting story of brother Muhammad Yusif Ali, who has kindly agreed to join us, along with a very, very good friend of his, a friend who I'm sure Muhammad won't mind me saying almost, I could say, emotionally held his hand along the journey to Islam. His name is Hassan Muhammad. So on behalf of all of our viewers, I'd like to welcome first and foremost Muhammad Yusif Ali, who will tell us about his story, but also brother Hassan Muhammad, who is a very dear friend to him. Assalamu alaikum to the two of you.
Alaikum assalam.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. So this story is about Muhammad. Hassan Muhammad, Muhammad Yusuf Ali.
Yeah.
Hassan Muhammad, you were Muslim to start off from birth.
Born Muslim.
But of course, you learnt a lot along the way, which if we get time, we'll try to get to. But before we get to how the two of you met and your journey towards Islam, I want to maybe focus at the beginning on the earlier part of your life, just so that we can get an idea of where you came from to where you are today.
Inshallah.
Are you from the UK?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
born in the UK.
Born in the UK?
Yeah.
Here in London?
Yeah, in London.
In London. Okay, alhamdulillah. And in terms of the environment in which you grew up, I'm talking about your home environment at a young age. Did you grow up in an environment where there was religion? Did your family go to church? Were you one of these youngsters who would have to go to church with a Bible every Sunday, or whatever the case may be?
Nah, never. We never went to church. It's mainly they taught us a few things in school, but other than that, we never went to church.
Okay, and at home, did you have a Bible on the top shelf or anything like that?
No, there was no belief in my family. Just,
Okay.
Like they were just Kafir, like. That's it.
None. Okay, alhamdulillah. Because sometimes, having done this show for quite a long time now, I've began to realize that sometimes people convert to Islam or revert to Islam, and they say, for example, that their parents were kafirs or atheists or agnostic, whatever the case may be. But in actual fact, maybe the parents did have some sort of belief. It's just in this country, it just seems to be the case sometimes that people just don't talk about religion. So your parents might have some sort of belief, but they see it's personal and they don't speak about it. Was that the case, or you're fairly sure?
Sometimes it's like washed down, really, like it's sort of drifted into the background. I understand what you're saying. Obviously, I love my parents, but nah, they don't. Like, I try to give them dawah because I love them and I want, inshallah, I hope they'll come Jannah.
Inshallah.
But I don't know.
So
They
far?
just don't. Nah, they don't. They're just, what they say to me, which I kind of just took in, is they said to me when I first reverted, they said, okay, like, we'll try and support you. You don't judge me and I won't judge you, really. Kind of.
Sure.
With family and that's kind of it. Really.
Okay, so we're family, you're on your way, but leave us to do what we want to do.
Yeah, and I kind of respect them for that, but what they can't see, which I couldn't see neither, so I don't really blame them, what they can't see is that I will talk to them because I love them, not because I want to bore them, because I love them, because I want them to come Jannah. I don't want to see my family go like that, but sometimes it's almost like, I don't know, like they're their own path, and in this life with family.
Sure.
And that's sort of it.
And where we end up is where we end up.
Allahu alam.
Yes, okay, thank you. So what about you as a youngster? Okay, you grew up in a household, I think you've made it quite clear that you definitely grew up in a household where there was no form of religion. But did you, in school, you must have been exposed to Christianity. I don't know if you did religious education, or whether you had, I don't know, plays at Christmas time, etc., etc.
Yeah. No, I had a play when I was younger, when I was like a nativity play about like Jerusalem and stuff, and I was like the star.
The star.
Yeah, but I didn't really get into it too much. But they kind of taught us that Jesus was God rather than just a prophet. So whereas once before, astaghfirullah, like I prayed to Jesus. So, and that's a wrong perspective that you're teaching people. Because I pray now and like, inshallah, I'll be forgiven for that. Because I was young and I didn't know.
Sure, of course.
But you can't teach people like that.
Sure. And I, of course, having spoken to you even off air, I know you're a little bit bitter about that, and it's understandable as well. What about this praying that you spoke about? So you yourself had some sort of belief in God. Okay,
Yeah.
you maybe understood God to be through this personality of Jesus, but I mean, how would you pray? Would it be before you sat down to eat a meal? Would it be before going to bed? Would it be because you wanted the Sky Electrics at Christmas?
Yeah.
Sorry, I say Sky Electrics. In your time, it was probably a PlayStation, a PS1 or PS2.
No, we
I don't
had
know.
Sky Electrics.
Oh, you had that as well?
Yeah, no, it was kind of like you said. We never said grace at table. We say I'll pray if I want something, stuff like that. But now, obviously, in Islam, like I will pray. We'll pray all the time, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Like certain things I've gone through that'll be bad, and I'll pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thanking for the test, and inshallah that we'll get through it. And we always be grateful for what you got, alhamdulillah, and that's the only way you can really live life. You
Sure.
can go through life feeling sorry for yourself and not wanting to pick yourself up because I could have done that easily.
Okay, yeah, and of course, I know that you've had some very trying times in the past, which hopefully we can try and touch upon. Also, I wanted to ask you about what it was like for you, not just as a youngster, but as you started to become a teenager, because for a lot of youth, especially the males, it's normally that transition from primary school to secondary school, and once you start hitting 13, 14, that's when you start going off the rails and stuff. I mean, when did things start to go, let me not say bad, but
I would almost,
negatively?
I would say from like almost the start, because I almost got expelled from like primary school, so I was just so drifted up where, I don't know, like in my family, it's not like, you'll get told off, but it's not like it was like bad. Like when I would come home, you'd be scared, like, no, I don't want to go home and stuff, but it's like, in primary school, I nearly got expelled. In primary school, we started bunking off, so already...
In primary school?
Yeah, already stuff like that already happened before I even went to secondary school. Secondary school, when I always hang around with the older lot. So when I come into secondary school, I already knew everyone. I already knew them from all the other years. So straight away, I was already part of like the people, and it just kind of drifted from there. Like I started smoking cigarettes and weed stuff like when I was like 12.
12 years old.
So yeah. It was like literally, because I'm the youngest in the year, when I came into year 7, we was like smoking weed and stuff. Like we would come, sneak out of school and go back to my friend's house because his parents were like full, like kafir, like offer us alcohol, and when we was only like 12. But obviously now when I think back on it, I think astaghfirullah, like.
Sure.
And then, but.
So you're saying that his parents would, they knew you were bunking off school?
Yeah, we was allowed to.
So they'd let you bunk off school, and they would then offer you alcohol and you'd smoke drugs with them?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Now when
what were they, hippies or?
No, they were like. Now when I think about it, I think astaghfirullah, like how could they do that? But at the time you're thinking, yeah, like.
So you're thinking this
is the life.
If only my parents were as cool as his parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much better life would be.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
And he was an older child, was he, or was he your?
No, he was in the same. It was in the same year, but obviously because I was the youngest in the year, he was like the oldest in the year. There was nearly a year between us, but we was we was like been friends since primary school and stuff.
Right, so you both went to the same primary school.
Yeah, we was in the same year, same, yeah.
Right, and now you've gone into secondary school.
Yeah.
And you were already bunking off school in primary school. Now that you've gone to secondary school, you've got co-bunkies, if I can call them, or co-bunkers, who are taking you around to their parents' house who happen to be at home, and then they start feeding you with drugs and drugs.
Yeah.
So for you, obviously, you're. Am I right in assuming that this, for you, you're thinking this is just normal?
Yeah, because it was like as well, his house. When we used to go out on a Friday night or something, and we used to all want to get drunk or whatever.
How old were you when you were going out on a Friday night?
This is the same age, like 12, 13. This is when it first started. So like, say if we all wanted to go out, we would all like, you'd literally have to ask this guy on like Tuesday, can I stay around your house? Because he wouldn't have to be in until like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Whereas we would have to be in at like 10, 9. Everyone had to be in early. So we'd all literally ask him first, can I stay around your house? Because when you go around this house, you get to do whatever you want, really.
Because the parents are so liberal.
Yeah, and that's how it was. Like you could, like, whereas we would have to go to the park and drink, and we just started drinking in his house. Like we were drinking in his house. I remember they're having parties, and we were with like older people, and then the older people sometimes they chat off us bigger drugs than just weed.
And the parents were there all this time?
They're there all the time.
And presumably you would say to your mum, I want to go and sleep around X person's house on Friday night.
Yeah.
And your mum would think, oh, well, the parents are there as well.
Yeah,
so
cool. Yeah, that's fine.
No problem. Wow. So obviously the battles that you, or the hurdles that you had to overcome were quite high indeed. You mentioned to me off air how, you know, as you're starting to get older, you started to move with like a group of people.
Yeah, because it first sort of started at that person's house because, like, we was sort of around drugs, and where I was like, our family wasn't always rich. We weren't rich, we was poor. Like, not poor, but we was poor, yeah? So obviously, most of my friends, some of them have money and stuff. And I'd think, why do I never have money? And I'd say to my mum, like, give me money, yeah? And now when I look on it, obviously, she's a single mum doing her best, which she tried her hardest, and she's proud of me now, but at that time, you get angry, like, why? And then I was thinking, no, I have no money. So then one of the people in that house said, you can come make some money with me. So obviously it started from really young, so we started just
selling. When they said, come make some money with me?
Like selling drugs and stuff. And then obviously...
So you got a bring in, as it were?
Yeah, basically. And I thought, wow, he's bringing me in, like, I must be blessed. But
so he obviously respects you and loves you? Yeah,
that's what I thought. So it started from there, and then obviously once you start doing that, you start meeting people, and you think back in the day, you think, oh, he's hard. Like, I want to roll with him because he's hard. That people were scared of him, and if I roll with him, they're going to be scared of me too, because like, we're hard, stuff like that.
And of course, I don't even need to ask, if you were rolling with Mr. Hardman, then people started thinking of you, or started respecting you, or fearing you as Mr. Hardman as well. Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously it started escalating, we started getting older, and whereas this guy sort of stayed the same, and I sort of, because I was doing stuff with him, I sort of escalated, so I started meeting other people, bigger people. So you became a harder man than the hard man himself? Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works, right? Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, because obviously I'm young, and whereas I didn't really speak to my family too much, and it's like, whereas, well, when my family, because there was like around that kind of drug scene as well, when I come in, and I'll come in with new stuff and stuff like that, obviously stuff like that, you should never talk to your parents like that. Like, I do love them and stuff, but when I come in and they'll say, where'd you get this, or
or why are you smoking in the house or something, and I'll be like, shut up, like you can't tell me nothing, like you do it, I'll do it, I don't care.
So basically you grew up, even in your own household, you grew up around drugs.
Yeah,
So you're coming in now, making your own money from selling the same thing that has been smoked in your house, and people saying to you, why are you selling drugs?
No, because sometimes even worse people will come into the house. Obviously, like, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but like worse people than just we come into the house and stuff. So I was like, don't you dare like talk to me like about anything like that.
Because obviously,
then because
you didn't have an example to follow at home.
No, I didn't have no example. But that's why, like, sometimes I love my mum and respect her for everything that she's done for me, and she's tried her hardest. But obviously, where my dad, I don't know my real dad, so I'm thinking I have no role model. It's just my mum. She tried her hardest, but I couldn't see that at the time. So I'm like, you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm getting real hard involved in them, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm family. And then we started sort of in that era where I come from, like 12 to like 14, 15, it was mainly them kind of drugs scenarios, and then it sort of escalated into like gangs.
Were you still going to school all this time?
I tried. I got expelled like year 9.
Year 9 is what was that, about 13, 14?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned the word family, like this. You said, and it escalated into gangs.
Yeah.
Did it actually feel like a substitute for your own family? I mean, obviously your family is your family. Your mum's always your mum, and your uncles or aunties always your uncles and aunties. But sometimes when people enter into a gang, they actually feel that they found a home from home type of thing.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Because after that, because we just didn't get along, me and my mum started to argue bad. So, and then her boyfriend come in and we didn't get along as well. Because obviously I'm thinking, nah, I'm the only man, and you're gonna come try.
Was he trying to become? Was he trying to discipline you as well, or was he just keeping out of it?
Nah, he's kind of kept out of it, but we didn't get along, and so I got kicked out. So I was living on my own, and then that's when I thought, yeah, this is my family.
So then you got involved properly.
Yeah, because I thought they was helping me out, and they would come and like give me stuff to sell. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm making money and people know who I am. Man.
So that you're getting respect on the street because people see who you're rolling with. These people that you're rolling with are sorting you out. They're giving you money and they're giving you things to sell.
Yeah.
So for you, these people are treating you like a little brother.
Yeah,
like their little brother.
Some of them would say like a little brother, and I think, yeah. And when you're with them and you think, yeah, like I'm safe. I'm fine, and then it just escalates quick, and you don't really understand. And people from outside, they think, nah, he's in too deep, and you think, no, I'm not in too deep, man.
Yeah.
This is like, obviously because you're talking about this is what we do.
Yeah.
Like,
this is how we do.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
Like, don't step to me. And
yeah.
And then
how far would you have gone? What I mean by that is sometimes when people are in that kind of gang setting and they have their family, literally, you know, sometimes a man will put his life on the line for his family members, his gang members. How far would you have gone?
I'd have gone like far. I'd have gone far. Like, if anyone, like back in the day, if anyone calls up like something just happened to him, that's it. Like, we'll get our stuff, we'll go, and we're rolling.
Or somebody's in some problem somewhere, but he makes a phone call and then in 5 minutes
we're here. And I would have done anything for them, really. So I was thinking, this is my family. If you touch my family, we're touching yours. And that's the way we think stuff a lot. And we thought that was right, that was cool, that was us. Like, we used to do that.
Okay. As I said at the beginning, obviously you've had some very high hurdles to have jumped over. Alhamdulillah, you did, which obviously we will deal with in the second half. But we're going to go to break in a few minutes. But before we do, I just wanted to bring Brother Hassan Muhammad, your good friend, in. I'm going to ask you after the break, the two of you, about your interaction and the process of how you spoke to him about Islam and so on and so forth. But I know you brothers have known each other, and I call you brothers, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I honestly consider you to be brothers. You've known him since the age of 12.
Yeah.
So you've seen what he's been going through all these years, all these things that he's been explaining. You've been witnessing it with your own eyes. I want to maybe use these couple of minutes for you to just explain what your relationship was like with him then, and what happened before you even started talking about Islam, because I know you weren't necessarily that close back in those days.
Well, it started kind of because he was from the same area, and we was with the same type of group, but I was with one group, it was the same type of people, but there was kind of different groups. I was with one group, he was with the other group, and we kind of used to see him. Obviously, we were both kind of living that, that lifestyle, but because he had nothing to hold on to, while I had, because the religion, I actually had my dad was quite disciplined, so I used to my dad used to always be like, follow your religion. I used to always, while he was there 24/7, I'll be in and out because I would have to go to mosque. I would have to, because of my duties as a Muslim. So we were kind of after the age of probably 15, I kind of just stopped seeing him for another 3 years because I kind of left that lifestyle. I started to study, started to see things. My brother helped me out. We did things together, and then
so
we
you
kind of
guys lost contact.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, you probably still see each other once in a while on the street here and there, or not even that.
Not even that. For a nice 3 years, I didn't ever see him.
Right. Up to that age of 15 where you lost contact, and as I said, we'll pick up when you found each other again after the break. But I mean, did you see the progression as he was getting deeper and deeper into this kind of gang lifestyle?
Yeah, say I would see him, for example, at 12, I'll be meeting my friends. He'll be drunk onto going to try to rob someone or something like that. But I'll kind of be there, but not be into it too deep as he was. Yeah, so he was, by the age of 15, he was well into it.
Okay.
Very well.
And some of these gang members, were they Muslims as well, or were they like Brother Hassan, who was kind of in but not really in deep?
Nah, they're Muslims though, but they claim they're Muslims, but I don't know.
Right, so born Muslims with Muslim names, they were in as deep as you, some of them even deeper, would you say?
Yeah, a lot of them even deeper. They're the people that brought me into it.
They were the ones that were the ones giving you the bringing.
I can't say they brung me, they took me and just brought me into it. I was already
halfway in,
and then they
took you a step further.
Yeah, because I just thought, these are my family.
Okay, when we come back, we can maybe talk about these Muslims in a bit more detail, and just more so for me to try and understand whether this was how you saw Islam, at least in the beginning stages, and then what happened afterwards. Very interesting so far. Yes, please make sure you join us after the break, where we'll find out how Brother Muhammad Yusuf Ali managed to break away from the shackles and chains of such a lifestyle to becoming a Muslim, and of course the effect that Islam has had on him so far. Join us in a couple of minutes, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.